Hi, this is Adam Kilborn with Black Raven Films, and this is our review of the Miller Fluid Head CX8. So last year when we were at NAB 2019, we were on the hunt for a new fluid head for our tripod use. We've got several different tripods. We've tried a lot of different fluid heads. But the one we were using, one of the Benro fluid heads, nice little fluid head, very inexpensive, but it's just not as professional as I wanted. So long story short, we started looking at different fluid head manufacturers and seeing what everybody else was using, and Sockler was definitely in the front running, and they have one called the FSB8, and it's a very nice fluid head. Several people in town have got it, and was able to play with it at NAB, and was very nice. I don't know why at the time, but when I was messing around with it, I couldn't figure out how to turn on the bubble illumination light. And when I talked to the sales rep there, they said, "Oh, it doesn't have that." And find out later on that it actually does have that. But the fact that I couldn't figure it out, it kind of turned me off, because I've been in the situation enough times in the dark where I'm trying to level out a fluid head, and I can't see the bubble level. And so I've grown accustomed to a little illumination button on it. So long story short, I ended up looking at the Miller fluid heads. I walked by their booth and I just saw them. I was like, oh wow, those are nice looking fluid heads. Let me try them out. And that's when I looked at this CX8 here, and I played with it a little bit, and I was just really impressed with it. I mean, the biggest thing with this is that the action on it is just so smooth. I mean, it's just, it's repeatable. It's incredibly smooth, both pan and tilt, the counterbalance system. I mean, it just screams precision. So we ended up buying this thing. It's not cheap. I think at the time it was like $1,900. I think they're on. They come down a little bit in price. They're still $1,700 or something like that for a fluid head. And I wanted to give a review of what I've thought over the last couple of years using the thing, and my takeaways from it. The biggest thing that you notice with this is the amazing action with it. I mean, it's just it is a pleasure to use. It really is nice. It's got on the back here different counterbalance settings here. So when you're leveling out your tripod or your camera head, and you go to set it in a spot and you let go, there's nothing on here. I've got too much counterbalance on it, but it just stays in place, right? Like you move it here and it just stays. And that was really, that shows a really good tripod head. Some of the other fluid heads that we use, regardless of what setting you had it would always have a little bit of bounce back in either direction. And this thing, if you set it right properly, there's none of that. And that's just, I love it, because you can be rest assured that when you let go of the thing, it's not going to do this or this, and it's just there. So that's been a really, really nice thing. The other thing is that the brakes on here, when you lock it or unlock it, it doesn't bounce. It doesn't make the fluid head bounce. With some of the cheaper models we've used, I'd always be afraid, especially with a heavy camera, I'd really be afraid of unlocking something. Here it's got this big lockout here in front, and when you unlock it, it would bounce. Well, this doesn't. There's no bouncing. So that's just really great. It's got a lighted, illuminated bubble thing, which I still can't believe I didn't see it on the other one, but it is what it is. It's got mounting points for other devices you want to put on here. You can put a magic arm on this, which is nice because it's part of the fluid head. It moves around. And it's got the locking mechanism up here. When you put it in, it locks in there. It's really nice. It's got a nice, easy to remove plate. You know that this thing's not going anywhere when you lock your camera into it. It's got a great payload with it, 26 pounds. So it'll handle some beefy setups with that. What else? This sliding plate on top here, it's got quite a bit of travel with it. You can move it forward and back 60 millimeters. It's one of these side mounting plates here, which is really nice. So all in all, it's fantastic. Also, it's basically made from a bunch of cast pieces of metal here, and so it's not waterproof, but it's definitely water resistant. I wouldn't be super concerned with taking it out into the elements. It should handle that. So all in all, it's a great piece of kit. That said, there are some cons, and specifically this thing here is a con. The plate itself, it's great, right? But when you go to attach it to a camera, it's got these little side rails on this thing, which means that if you have like in the past, I've used quarters or dimes to tighten down a camera plate. You know, you'll be out in the field and you'll be like, hey, somebody got a dime I can use? Well, because it has these metal rails that are right here, you can't use anything that's wide like that. You have to use something very narrow. The other thing with it is that right here on this plate it's threaded. And it's threaded so that you can take out these screws, right? So you can remove this 1/4-20 screw, and on this side you can put in a 3/8 screw. Well, that sounds really great, but you know what happens is that your screw floats down to one of these ends on either side, and then when you go to screw, you don't realize it unless you're really careful, and you start screwing on it, you know, screwing the screw in, and it crushes these threads. This is my second plate that I've had to buy. Not because the plate itself was somehow jacked up. No, it's these threads over here that's jacked up. So what happens is this thing's not even cheap. It's like 50 or 75 bucks. I mean, it's like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, this is how they design these things? I don't understand why they don't get rid of this threaded thing, put a little rubber stopper like Manfrotto does on all those things, be 10 times better. Because this threaded screw thing here is annoying. It is, I can't tell you how many times this thing gets caught when I'm trying to screw in or unscrew a camera from it. It sounds so small and so simple, but this thing's almost $2,000 and I got to deal with that nonsense. This is a cheap part. Why are you doing this? This is terrible. Also, this plate here, the other part with this plate that is so annoying is that this action, awesome, amazing, right? Except this plate is not compatible with something like Manfrotto. And why is that important? Because most of my crap that I've got from all these other manufacturers utilizes some sort of Manfrotto style quick release plate. I don't need to be an exact replica of Manfrotto, but this is too wide for a Manfrotto plate, right? Like it's like a millimeter too wide, which means I can't use this on a Manfrotto plate or on a Manfrotto tripod head or a Manfrotto shoulder rig or a Manfrotto gimbal plate. I mean, any of those things, it's not compatible. So this proprietary quick release plate is a giant pain in the ass when you're out in the field trying to be quick with things, right? I mean, we move a very heavy camera from this beautiful tripod head to a shoulder rig, to a gimbal, to a slider, to anything else that takes most of which all takes Manfrotto plates. This doesn't work on that, which means I have to take this dumb thing off, which we already talked about how much of a pain in the ass it is with this screw. Take that thing off and put on a Manfrotto plate, just so I can move the camera from one device to another. And that's, I'm sorry, but that's just poor engineering. There's no reason for it. I know that companies are excited about their their proprietary things. This fluid head action, it all runs off of disc brakes, I guess. It's amazing. Don't ever change that. But something like this for an operator, that's your pain point. This thing is where the rubber meets the road out in the field, and where something like this is just annoying as all get out. It doesn't diminish the fact that this is an amazing piece of kit, but it is really annoying. So when Miller, you guys go to upgrade your units to this CX8 Mark II, change your quick release plate, because this thing is annoying. At a minimum, get rid of these side supports here. There's absolutely no reason to have them, and they make screwing in a screw nearly impossible. If you want to make it even better, make this compatible with a Manfrotto plate. At least the width. That's all it is. This isn't a sophisticated change. It should be a no-brainer for you guys. So, all right, that's my rant. This, like I said, amazing, amazing. I would totally buy this again. I am interested to see what the Sackler. I'd love to play with the Sackler for a bit and see if that would be any as enjoyable as this. But this is a true. It's been a true pleasure using this over the last 2 years. So that's our review of the Miller CX8 tripod head. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.